We break down everything that you missed on Friday's Combine, news, rumors, and also the biggest winners and losers next on the Unbearable Sports Podcast.
We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice long
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube and rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Today, we're going to be breaking down the news for what happened on Friday. There's a lot of stuff that we got to get to, so we want to talk about what are we going to be seeing today because I'm recording this on Saturday morning rather than Friday night. So what's going to be going down today? Who are we going to be watching? Also, what are the vibes coming out of the Combine, followed by the safeties and tight ends who I thought won the day. But also, let me know down below in the comments, who did you think won the day or at the Combine on Friday? But let's just get straight into this. Let's talk about what's going to be coming to us on Saturday. We got the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs today, which is the best day of the NFL Combine because now we get to see them throw. Now, we're not going to be seeing the top 3, the Jaden Daniels, the Caleb Williams, but we will be seeing Bo Nix, and we will be seeing Michael Penix, and we will be seeing J.J. McCarthy. Those 3 are kind of in their own little tier, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with those quarterbacks. But who I'm also really excited to be looking out for, the running back position. I think that the Bears should draft one later on and see, because then I know a lot of people want to have that bell cow. Now, there's a good amount of running backs. There's really no like top upper echelon first round guys. But today, people that I'm looking out for, Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. He is an absolute Hulk of a person that I think that is going to test out of this world. He's always been a physical freak at Wisconsin. Super, super young. He might be 19 or 20. He's always been ridiculously young. So definitely someone to keep an eye out for. Blake Corum out of Michigan. He was someone that I really like his 2021 tape, but 2022 or 2023, I absolutely did not like his tape, but the year before that was good. I want to see how fluid does he look after that knee surgery that he had, because last year I really was not impressed with his tape. But then Isaac Guerendo out of Louisville, he's someone that has great straight line speed. Marshawn Lloyd, running back out of USC. When we want to have home run hitters, Marshawn Lloyd out of USC and Tyrone Tracy Jr. out of Purdue are 2 people you definitely need to watch. Both can go day 3, so people to look out for the Bears. And then last but not least, the wide receivers. I think that Rome Odunze. So Rome Odunze is going to be testing. He wants to show that he is wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. He wants to put no doubt in people's minds. I think he's going to have a great day. That's why he wants to test today, so that people can start talking about him. But other people, so because of that, I don't think that the wide receivers, I kind of subscribe to the thought that a lot of the wide receivers are going to be gone at pick 9. So you got to be looking out for maybe if the Bears trade, whether it's trade back or trade Fields, if they have that second round pick, look for players like Ladd McConkey, Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. I've said this before. He does not play the wide receiver position. So to me, I think he's going to test well, but I want to watch how are his feet inside of these drills, because that still becomes the biggest question. It doesn't seem like he knows how to run routes, but he can at least like break tackles and make the big play, which that's why he's actually pretty darn low on my board. But Malik Washington out of Virginia, he's someone definitely to look out for, that Tank Dell 2.0. But Xavier Worthy out of Texas is going to blow the doors off on this Combine. He's going to run in the 4.2s. If he runs in the 4.3s, that's bad for him. He is going to be the talk of the Combine. If he's not, maybe he got injured or he just gave up, right? But Xavier Worthy is someone I really like in the second round that the Bears could get. So those are some of the players to be watching out for. But let's talk about the Combine vibes, the news out of the Combine. What is going on over at Indy that you should know about? So I have the whole list out here. It's a big list for those that are out on YouTube. But basically, Caleb, the whole vibe was Caleb Williams doesn't give his medicals. And let me know down below, are you freaking out about this, or are you just kind of like, okay, it is what it is? Because I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day, and when I first told her that he didn't give the medicals, her as a former athlete, she was saying like, oh, that's kind of weird. That's kind of odd. I don't like that. But then when you kind of get into it and you go, oh, well, yeah, if he's going to go number one, that makes sense. It's not the norm. And I think that's what threw a lot of people off. When you first hear the news, you go, what? And then you go, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? That isn't a big deal to me. But besides that, the rest of the Caleb Williams vibes are high. Pro Football Talk tweeted out, we just spent 10 minutes with Caleb Williams. Condolences to the Vikings, Lions, and Packers. This guy's the real deal. The Bears will have their next franchise quarterback since Sid Luckman. Now, that's a bold take. I mean, I'm all for it if the Bears get him, and he's the next franchise guy. Bold take, though, for just spending 10 minutes with him. But I will say that, Connor J. Rogers, he's from The Athletic. He does the Stock Exchange podcast, and I'm a big fan of his. And he said the consensus on Caleb Williams is even higher than I expected when he was talking about just the vibes around the combine. The vibes are huge for Caleb Williams. Everybody loves him. It's not this world that we are living in or outside of the combine where people are saying, well, maybe it's Jaden Daniels, maybe it's Drake May. No, it's Caleb Williams and then everybody else, and that's the vibe at the NFL Combine. But also, too, this is noteworthy. Some have said that Drake May won, quote unquote, the interviews with the quarterbacks. Like when he was interviewing with the other teams, a lot of people came away very impressed with Drake May, just with his confidence, his style, and just kind of, he has the humility, but also just kind of confidence with how he was saying, like, you don't want a game plan for me, you want a game plan with me, right? He's made a couple of these little one-liners that a lot of people seem to enjoy. But also, too, when I was listening to Caleb Williams, let me know what you all think down below. I don't have the audio, but to me, Caleb Williams, he's the different vibe of quarterback. He's more the Jim McMahon type of quarterback where he's more boisterous, more out there with what's going to be going on. And I think that's where some people, I think, are starting to not love what they're seeing out of Caleb Williams because he's different. We're used to Mitch Trubisky. We're used to Justin Fields, where Justin Fields, yes, when he's being interviewed, he's more, when he's being interviewed by the St. Brown brothers, he's more interesting, more fun to listen to. But overall, when you hear him in the normal interviews, he's more laid back. And Caleb Williams is not really that. Caleb Williams is more of a, I don't want to say personality, but he's just got this confidence. He's got more of that confidence that can be borderline arrogant to some people, which, like I said, he's more Jim McMahon than Mitch Trubisky in the style that he carries himself. So to some people, that's a pro. To some people, that's a con. But last time we won a Super Bowl, we had a more cocky quarterback than others. So that is one plus. But then also, too, speaking of Justin Fields' stock is really low. This is coming from multiple people out of Indianapolis. Connor Rogers, again, like what he was saying about just the vibes at the combine. He said Justin Fields' market is wildly underwhelming from what he's heard. But that's not just him. Diana Rossini, who now works for The Athletic, said, I don't think the market is as robust as a lot of people thought. She also continued on and talked about how, to her, Justin Fields just, it seems like people are waiting until free agency because more people like what's out in free agency than what Justin Fields would provide them. So that's not a very good look because now the vibes, right? We had Mel Kiper that was talking about a first-round pick for Justin Fields. And then now we were talking maybe a second-round pick. But then now we might get a third. And if you get a third for the quarterback that everybody loves in the locker room, that is not a good look. And I think that's hard because that makes things harder if you are getting kind of like not market value for that quarterback. You're getting less than what Sam Darnold got. That that would rub a lot of people the wrong way, and that's what makes this even more difficult if that is in fact true, that you can only get a third-round pick for Justin Fields. But also I feel like that shows what the vibe is about Justin Fields as well, where if you can't get high stuff, so the vibes are low on Justin Fields, high on Caleb Williams. But let's get this show started, and let's talk about the NFL Combine a little bit more. Let's just go through safeties, tight ends, and wrap it up for the day. So safeties went and balled out, and the reason why I'm not covering cornerbacks, I can't really see the Bears drafting a corner unless it's super late in the 5th or the 4th. So a lot of the Combine winners were like Melton and Terrion Arnold. The Bears aren't going to be drafting a corner in the first round anytime soon. They have other holes that they need to play or fix, like safety. So some of the safety winners that I have out there, number 1, Cole Bishop, free safety out of Utah. He scored a 9.82 RAS score and measured in 6'2", 206. So he's got good height, good size, and he's known for not being the best athlete out there. Like watching the tape, he's not this crazy athlete. But then he's like, you know what? I'm going to test like a crazy athlete. 39-inch vertical jump over a 10-foot broad jump. 40-yard dash was a 4.45. And 10-yard split, 1.56. The dude balled out. He looked very good in the drills. He looked very fluid. He checked all the boxes that athleticism was his biggest question mark. And he looked like he was the best athlete at the safety position today. And that, when you combine his instincts and his tackling ability with him measuring like one of the best athletes out there, very, very good day. I think that Cole Bishop won the safety, the group of safeties today. But if we continue going through, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, free safety out at Texas Tech. This is another person that we highlighted to keep an eye out for. Now, he did measure in short, but he did measure at 197, which I thought for a weight was pretty good. So he was 5'10", 197, and 200 is kind of that magical line you want your safeties to be at, because you want them bigger. You want them to be able to tackle and bring people down. But also, too, similar to Cole Bishop, Taylor Demerson just was gliding out there. 4.41 40 time, very fast. But also overall, 8.91 RAS score and 38-inch vertical jump. Overall, I thought that he showed exactly what he needed, just was gliding out there in the drills. And you see why he's this awesome free safety, this playmaking safety. And measuring in at 197 is good because he was always kind of in the 180s. So it was nice to see that he packed on some pounds and bulked up a little bit for this. And maybe you could just add a little bit more weight to hit that magic 200 mark for safety. So I think he really checked a lot of those boxes for executives. But today, I want to talk about a loser of the Combine, right? It's harsh, but this is someone that I really like, and this guy has the instincts, and he continues to fall on people's boards. That's Cameron Kitchens, the free safety out of Miami. He was someone that was projected to go at the back end of the first, and now we start to see the slide. Now he's going in the third, and now this could be really good value, but we know that the Bears don't like people that have bad RAS scores. Why he slid? 2.11 RAS score, 5'11", 203, which isn't terrible. The height is a little bit bad. It's 3.78 from the RAS score. But then also his broad jump was a 9-foot broad jump. That is 0.69. That is terrible. But then a 4.65. The font on the RAS scores are a little hard to read. But 4.65 40-yard dash, not a good 40. Just overall, didn't really make up a lot of ground. And also seeing him move out there, he wasn't wowing anybody with anything. And so just not a good look for him, especially someone that you want to be that free safety. You want him to be that rangy playmaker. And when he's not testing well from the athletic testing, it just kind of continues that slide down. So maybe the Bears get him in the third round, because here's the thing. The guy knows how to play football. The guy has instincts, and he's a risk taker. Like I said, to me, he reminds me of Eddie Jackson, where he's a risk-taking safety that he might not be the fastest of all safeties, but he has some of those instincts. So Cameron Kitchens, one of the losers from the safety group. But let's continue going on with the tight ends. And this guy was the talk out there. Tip Ryman, tight end out of Illinois, 9.93 RAS score. And the reason, and this is someone that when I was watching his tape, I was not a fan of because he had 200 receiving yards at Illinois, but he's more of a blocker. But this guy shows, listen, I can play. A 4.64 40-yard dash, which is 9.04 on the RAS score. So very, very, very fast. A 9.81 for his 10-yard split at 1.55. Vertical of 33 and a half, over a 10 broad. And he's 6'4", almost 6'5", 271 pounds. So this is a big man that knows how to move. And when you're watching him too in the drills, he's looking darn good. And in the blocking drills was looking good. Everything he was doing today looked good. Now, it makes you want to kind of go back to his tape and say, well, what did we miss? Because he did not play a lot. Not much was asked of him at Illinois. He was more of a blocker. So I think that now a lot of people are going to be turning the tape back on and saying, okay, did we miss something with Tip Ryman? That's what you want to see someone do at the combine. And he came out and looked really good. But let's continue going on. Another person that we had on our watch list, I think ultimately scored a 9.97, but in my screenshot, it's a 10. Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, 6'6", 259, ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, almost a 39.5-inch vertical. This guy was just very tall, tested through the roof. That's exactly what I was expecting him to do. But when I did see his drill work, I didn't see some of that speed as much, but he's a big guy. He's a big guy, tall guy, and that's what you get out of him. He's more that athlete that you could then project to the next level, and that's why he's on this list. But let's just go through two more people real quick. Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. He had a 40-inch vertical, over a 10 broad, 9.49. And this is someone that I love in day 3. This guy breaks tackles like crazy, and 4.68 40-yard dash. He gives you exactly what you need from the speed perspective, but he is a little over 6'3". But Brock Bowers measured in at 6'3" as well. 6'3" is kind of this new tight end, the Dalton Kincaids of the world, and where they're a little bit more compact, but they can kind of make stuff after the catch and do more with the ball in their hands. Sinnott is exactly what that is. So he had a good one, but I want to talk about one loser, quote unquote, if you could even call it that. Jvon Sanders, tight end out of Texas. And the reason why I'm categorizing him as a loser, which sounds so bad, but to me, he measures in, yet again, 6'3", 245. I always thought that he was a little bit bigger on tape, but 245 is a 3.38 in the RAS score, so you're talking about lightweight. He ends up running a pretty good 40 at 4.69, which is 8.26. But why was he kind of a loser for me? This was an opportunity for him to show that he is the number 2 tight end. And I just came away going like he just kind of blended in with a lot of the other people that were running the drills. And also when you talk about other tight ends, like we didn't even talk about Kate Stover. He had a very good day today as well. A lot of the tight ends today, I felt all had good days. And so because of that, it almost shrinks him being that true number 1 or the true number 2 tight end in this draft class. Because now you probably get other people saying, well, I could get Sinnott in the 3rd or in the 4th. I could get Stover in the 3rd. And now because of that, I think that his stock might drop a little bit, because why do I need this tight end when there's other ones that are later on that seemingly are just as talented? And if this guy's calling card was his athleticism and he didn't test as well as those guys, well, I might want those other people as well. So that was just my take. I wanted to just at least get one stock down type of a player. So let me know what you think, though, down below. Now, this wraps it up. Almost at 20 minutes. I hope you are all ready for another day of the NFL Scouting Combine. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and rate the show 5 stars. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick.